Welcome to We the People, a new birth of freedom. Thanks for stopping by, and I encourage you to subscribe and leave your comments below, and I will respond. For over 8 years, the American War of Independence waged between 13 colonies and Britain. The King of Britain was not a happy king when our founding fathers decided to revolt, rebel, and become outlaws to his rule and dictatorship. Nevertheless, in over 8 years, gallons and gallons and gallons and barrels of blood was shed between the pioneers of America, the true patriots of the American colonies, and the soldiers of Britain. Why did our founding fathers want independence? I would like to interject to say this, that I wonder how many Americans have ever really studied the American War for Independence, and certainly how many young people have. I think many of them are too busy on their cell phones and sitting in front of video games or just hanging out. But without the War of Independence, we would not have the liberty, the justice, the life that we live, and the pursuit of happiness that we enjoy in the 21st century. It all started with independence. That is our foundation. I know that many politicians like to avoid it, out of sight, out of mind. But without independence, you have no freedom. There's always somebody else dictating what they want you to do or what they don't want you to do. And our founding fathers had the insight to realize that it had to start with independence before the political processes could be put in place to protect the life, liberty, pursuit of happiness that goes with an independent, sovereign nation and people. And it disturbs me. In fact, it angers me greatly when I see the individuals that call themselves Americans today continually trying to circumvent, suppress, do away with the liberty that we have and that our founding fathers paved the way for by shedding blood for what they believed in. You've heard me say before that no doubt at least 10% of our elected representatives are genuine Americans. They would fight for you. They will defend you. They will work to support and defend and protect our liberty. Another 10%, they're just punks, political punks, thugs, self-serving thugs that only want to accumulate as much affluence and power as they can so they can control yours. The other 80%, well, they wish they were Americans. They're constantly straddling the fence. But see, our founding fathers had one vision, and that was to be free, to live free, and to die free. It took bloodshed. It took much, much bloodshed. They didn't come across with flowery speeches. They were willing to shed their blood, to sacrifice everything to be free. They became outlaws to the King of Britain. They became fugitives, criminals to the King of Britain, and they were willing to suffer that oppression and that ridicule and that stigma in order to establish liberty for you and I, for themselves and for you and I, for future generations. But the politicians that we have in office today, I'm going to really emphasize this hard. They're a bunch of punks, political thugs, corrupt, self-serving, so reprehensible they shouldn't even be in this country. They need to be deported to some other country that believes in their bullshit. Or excuse me, pig shit. It's always been a fight for independence and for liberty. And it's always taken bloodshed in order for that to be established. But our founding documents, I know there are some politicians out there who believe they're flawed. Former President Obama is one of them. He believes it's a flawed document. Well, he's a highly flawed individual. He is so reprehensible, it's sickening. His agenda is that he wants to acquire 1 million Obamas. Now, if that is not the poster child of narcissism, I don't know what is. That defines it perfectly. He didn't say he wanted to reach everyone he can to see that they live free according to the documents given to us by our founding fathers. You don't hear him say that. They're always spewing out some pig shit agenda that's self-serving. You notice, and we've had some good presidents, but you notice most presidents, after they leave office, they want to build a library, some memorial, some monument to their presidential successes. But when and where have you ever seen a president leave office? Not a millionaire, not concerned about building a monument to his presidential legacy, but when have you ever seen a president leave office and build a memorial and a monument to the freedom of the American people? No, it's always about themselves. They're only concerned about their legacy, their agenda, their propaganda. I love this country. I love this nation. I love the American people. But I have separated myself from their political pig shit. That is not the America that I live by. I live by the documents given to me by my founding fathers. Willing to die for that. Willing to shed blood again for that. And that's what you have to be willing to do, to sacrifice everything for liberty. So it all starts with independence. That's where it begins. You have to understand that you are a sovereign, independent American, willing, as you keep hearing me say, to accept the responsibility and the accountability, all the liability that goes with liberty and justice. You're willing to accept that and live by it. There is a political process. It's established in the Constitution. You see, we have the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Law of Human Rights. It's called the Bill of Rights or the 10 Amendments, but it's actually, a bill is a law. It's the law of human rights. It's the fundamental laws of human rights. And we're going to start getting into those in the videos that are coming shortly. But we have the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill or the Law of Human Rights. Those were known as the Charter of Liberty. That's what I live by. I trust that that's what you live by. It's very simple. It's not designed to be defined and interpreted by a Supreme Court. It's not designed to be legislated by some political cult party. Thomas Jefferson said that they are inalienable rights. You can't rip them out of us. It's inside of us. It's inherent. It's intrinsic inside of us. We inherited that by birth. And what is it? He said it's equality. Every human being has equal access to life, liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness. It's intrinsic inside of us. I cannot repeat that or stress that enough. No political party can rip that out of us. They can try. They can attempt in every way possible through political processes, but a true American, you're not going to take that away from them. They'll die for it. They'll fight you for it. So those documents, that Charter of Liberty, is what we live by. The political process is defined in the Constitution. It tells Congress, the government, what to do and what not to do in regards to our liberty, to our freedom. So just remember, when you hear politicians give flowery speeches, their best smile, put their best foot forward, it's all a bunch of pig shit. Listen to them very carefully. They talk a good talk, but they can't walk the walk. And all they're concerned about is becoming as wealthy as they can, becoming as free as they can to exercise their wealth and affluence, and defining yours. Listen very carefully. Listen to their words. Watch their life. Watch their actions. It speaks loud and clear. A picture paints a thousand words. So watch them. Watch the picture they portray. And above all, until next time, please be a true American.